Okay, today we're talking about slope, and if you look at the notes that I'm giving you, there are three definitions. The first definition is what we call the Webster's Dictionary definition, and that's going to be the steepness of a line. Then we have the graphical definition, which is going to be regularly known as rise or run, the change of y over the change of x, and if you see their triangle, you know that that's going to be the change of. And then we have the algebraic definition. The algebraic definition, which you can see right here, is going to be given 2 points x1, y1, and x2, y2. Then the slope, which is m, is known as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now these three definitions are going to be what we're going to be utilizing the entire time. And I'm going to be talking about Webster's. Hold on one second. Webster's. Then I'm going to be talking about the graphical, and then I'll be again talking about algebraic definition. Now, how do we calculate slope? The way we calculate slope is by first labeling the points, and then you're going to write the formula down. You're going to plug and chug, and then you're going to reduce all fractions. First example. Find the slope of the points -2, 4, and 1, -6. So the very first thing it says to do, according to our notes, was to first label the points. So we're going to go ahead and label these points. x1, y1, x2, y2. Then we're going to write down our formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then step 3 says to plug and chug. So -6 minus 4 over 1 minus -2. So this is going to give me -10 over, double negative makes a positive 3. So my slope is going to be -10, 3. What does this mean algebraically? That I have the value -10, 3. What does it mean graphically? Graphically, it means that I am rising up 10 units and then I'm running to the left 3 units. Why? Because if I say rise, everybody is going to stand up. If I say run, people are able to run left or right. And if you run to the right, you're running positive. If you run to the left, you're running negative. So therefore, this slope is going to be -10/3. So therefore, I'm going to rise up 10 units and I'm going to run to the left 3. Next example. It says to find the slope of the points, -2, 4, 6, 4. So step 1, label x1, y1, x2, y2. Step 3 says to write down the formula of the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is going to give you 4 minus 4 over 6 minus a -2. 4 minus 4 gives you a 0. A double negative is a positive to give you 8, and 0 cookies divided by 8 friends means that everybody gets 0 cookies. Now, to make myself very clear on this, 0 in the top is happy, 0 in the bottom is sad. So if I have 0 in the top, I can actually become 0, but if I have 0 in the bottom, I cannot do that. So this is what we call a slope that is a 0 slope. Okay, when do we have a 0 slope? We have a 0 slope whenever our y values are exactly the same. And as you can see in this problem, our y values were exactly the same, so therefore this is going to be a slope of 0. So let's find the slope of the next one. Step 1 says to label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then it says to go ahead and to write down our formula. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 6 take away 3, -7 minus -7. 6 take away 3 is going to be 3. A double negative becomes a positive. So this is going to give you 0. I have 3 cookies and I'm dividing them among 0 friends. Well, I can't give any cookies out because I don't have anybody to give them to, so therefore this is what we call a slope of being undefined. You cannot divide by 0. Remember, 0 in the top is happy, 0 in the bottom is sad. So therefore we have no slope here is undefined. Do not write no slope, write undefined. If you write down no slope, you're going to think it's 0. So please use the word undefined. Now, what I want to make myself very clear here is if I were to graph this, I would have the point -7, 3, and then I would have the point -7, 6. This makes a vertical line. So a vertical line has no slope. It is undefined. Okay? If I come back up here to this one and I graph it, I'm going to graph the point -2, 4, that puts me right here, and I'm going to graph the point 6, 4, and that puts me right here. That's what we have, a horizontal line. And if I can draw a house on it, it has the slope of 0. Okay? Now, what I just talked about is this graph picture. You are going to see 4 lines. The first line is going to be right here. The second line is right here. The third line is right here. And the fourth line is right here. So if you put all 4 lines together, you have this nice little picture. And if I put my man over here, and if I start at the bottom and I work my way to the left, I go up the hill. When I go up the hill, I have a positive slope. My man gets to the top of the hill, then he starts to go down the hill, which means I have a negative slope. Then he goes into his house, and then, because it has a slope of 0, then we get to the edge of the cliff, and you automatically want to see what is going down underneath there, so this is what we call an undefined slope. This slope picture is very, very, very important for you to constantly remember and keep in the back of your head. You're going to draw this on your papers all the time. Now, what I've done there is I've basically connected all of those pictures that you see here, and this is a great picture from your textbook. There's the positive slope, there's the negative slope, this is a 0 slope, and then this is the undefined slope. And what we've done is we've just put all 4 pictures together and made one big picture out of it. So this is the positive, the negative, the 0, and then undefined slope. Again, commit it to memory. Now, what happens whenever I give you this just random graph? I say find the slope of the graph. So what you're going to do is you're going to find 2 points on here. And I see a point here. And a point here. So what you're going to do is you are going to go up and you're going to do rise over run. Rise, we always start from the bottom point. And we are going to rise up 1, 2, 3 units to get level with it. And then we're running to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Because I ran to the right, this means it's positive, so my slope is going to be 3/5. Let's do that again. So again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find 2 points on the graph. Here's the first one and here's the second one. And from there, I'm going to start at the bottom point. I'm going to do rise over run. So if I start from the bottom point, I'm going up 1, 2, 3 units. And then I'm running to the right or to the left 1 unit. Since I'm running to the left and it's going downhill according to this thing, my slope is going to be -3. Now, this is the slope-intercept formula of the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. So important, mx plus b. m is known as your slope, and the b value is known as your y-intercept. Now, the y-intercept is the point on the graph where it crosses the y-axis. It is 0b. Okay? Methods in finding the equation of the line. There are two methods. The first method is going to be y equals mx plus b, known as the slope-intercept form. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept, and you're going to label your point as xy. Okay? Then the next one that you're going to have is going to be what we call the point-slope form. The point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1, where x and y stay, these values stay, and everything else turns into numbers. So the first y and the first x stay, and y1 and x1 and m all turn into numbers. This time you're going to label your point as x1, y1, and that is very, very important in this one. So find the equation of the line with m equaling 5 and y-intercept equaling 0, 3. So it doesn't matter which method you use. We're going to go ahead and go with y equals mx plus b. So if I use that, I'm going to label this as x and this is y. However, I would like you to look at that point that I just labeled x and y. If I look at that very clearly, what you're going to notice is that this is the point 0b, which is known as our y-intercept. So I already have m and I already have b. Why do I know it's b? Because it's going to be the point 0, 3, which is 0b. So if I plug in my slope and I plug in my b value, I'm done. Y equals 5x plus 3. Okay, now this one says find the equation of the line with the given information. Use slope-intercept form. I give you m equals -3 and a point to -5. And I also tell you which method to use. I say to use the slope-intercept form. Well, that means I have to use y equals mx plus b. If I'm utilizing that, I have to label my point x and y. So if I plug in y, that's -5. If I plug in m, that's -3. If I plug in x, that's 2. Our goal is to now find b. So this is -5 is equal to -3 times 2 is -6 plus b. I add 6, and I have 1 is equal to b. So my equation is going to simply be y is equal to mx plus b. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep this x and this y. And I'm going to plug in what I know. Y is equal to, m is going to be -3, the x stays, and b is going to be equal to 1. So my equation is y equals -3x plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing, but this time I'm going to use the different formula. That formula is going to be point slope. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down my formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And I start to plug and chug. So I'm going to have, labeling my point, this is x1, this is y1. So I'm going to have y minus a -5 is equal to m, which is -3, times x minus 2. A double negative makes a positive. So I have y plus 5 is equal to -3x plus 6. Now if I go ahead and I solve for y, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5. So I have y is equal to negative 3x plus 1. And what you'll see is that I got the exact same answer using the other formula. So therefore that tells me that either formula will work and I will get the correct answer. Okay, so this time I'm going to give you something a little bit different. I am simply going to be asking you to find the equation of the line given the information, and you can use either formula. But this time I'm going to give you 2 points. I don't give you a slope, I just give you 2 points. So what we're going to do is, the first thing we have to do is we got to find the slope. So our slope is going to be x1, y1, labeling my points, x2, y2. I write my formula down. I have 8 take away negative 2, negative 3 take away negative 5. A double negative makes a positive, so that gives me 10 over. Double negative makes a positive, 2 to give me 5 as my slope. So now that I know what my slope is, I'm going to go ahead and write down my slope as being 5, and then I'm going to choose either point. It doesn't matter which point you choose. I'm going to go ahead and choose the negative 3, positive 8, so that's one less negative I have to deal with. And I'm going to go ahead and use the very first formula, which is y is equal to mx plus b. So here's x and here's y. So this is 8 is equal to 5 times negative 3 plus b. So 8 is equal to negative 8. Nope, sorry, wrote down the wrong thing there. Okay, I can't erase it, so we're just going to write over this. So I'm going to have 8 is equal to negative 15 plus b. So if I add the 15, I'm going to get 23 is equal to b. So my equation is y is equal to 5x plus 23. And that was with me utilizing the point negative 3, 8. Now, I could have went ahead and used the other point. My slope is 5, and the other point was negative 5, negative 2. And this time if I use my formula, x1, y1, I'm just doing it again for you, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus a negative 2 is equal to 5 times x minus a negative 5. Plus plus, so y plus 2 is equal to 5x plus plus 25. If I subtract 2, I am going to have that y is equal to 5x plus 23. So I've done the same problem with 2 different methods, so it doesn't matter which method you try, you'll get the same answer. Okay, next one is going to be find the equation of the line given the information. Use either formula. So again, doesn't matter which formula you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use y equals mx plus b. So here's x and here's y. I have my slope. Y is equal to mx plus b. So I have 5 is equal to 3/4 times negative 3 plus b. Put the 3 over 1. Marry the tops of the fraction to give you a negative 9. Marry the bottoms of the fraction to give you a 4. Many of you are going to want to get rid of that fraction, so if you multiply the entire thing by 4, I'm going to get 20 is equal to negative 9 plus 4b. Add the 9. 29 is equal to 4b. divide by 4, and you get b is equal to 29 over 4, which says your equation is going to be y equals 3/4 x plus 29 over 4. Okay? Now, I obviously went ahead and did this again, so we're going to do it the other way using mx plus b, because before we did mx plus b here, now we're going to use point slope, sorry. So if I write that formula down, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Here's x1, here's y1. Y minus 5 is equal to 3/4 times x minus a negative 3. So y minus 5 is equal to positive, positive. And many of you are going to want to distribute this 3/4 x plus, put this over 1, 9/4. Add the 5. Then you're going to get y is equal to 3/4 x. If you plug this right into the calculator, you'll be able to get exactly the same thing. This turns into a 1 to give you 20 over 4 to give you 29 over 4. Now, some of you may have went ahead and did this, which I hope you did. You may have multiplied from here by 4 and got 4y minus 20 is equal to 3 times x plus 3. And that's totally fine, so 4y minus 20 is equal to 3x plus 9. If you add the 20, you're going to get 4y is equal to 3x plus 29. Divide by 4. And you're going to get y is equal to 3x over 4 plus 29 over 4. Same exact thing, but we got rid of the fraction on that one. Tonight's homework is Chapter 2-3, Worksheet 1. I'll be back tomorrow, and I will help you with anything that you need.